My beloved child, pause for a moment and breathe. This message you are hearing right now is not an accident. It is not random. It is not something you stumbled upon by chance. Out of all the voices you could have listened to, out of all the paths your day could have taken, you are here. And I want you to understand something that may stir your heart. This was arranged for you. Yes, you. Before you even pressed play, before you even noticed the title, I saw you. I saw the quiet questions you carry. I saw the weight behind your smile. I saw the thoughts you have not spoken out loud to anyone. And I knew that at this exact moment, you would need to hear my voice in a way that feels personal, direct, and undeniable. You may be wondering why this feels different. Why does it feel like these words are reaching into your private world? Why does it feel like someone understands what you have been going through? My beloved child, it is because I do. I know the hidden corners of your heart. I know the nights when sleep would not come. I know the silent battles you fight in your mind. And I know the strength it took for you just to keep going. This message is not for the crowd. It is not for the person next to you. It is not even for who you pretend to be in front of others. It is for the real you, the one who sometimes feels unsure, the one who wonders if things will ever shift, the one who hopes but is afraid to hope too much. I am speaking to that part of you right now. You have been asking for a sign, even if you did not use those exact words. You have been searching for reassurance, for confirmation, for something that tells you that you are not alone in this season. And here it is. Not loud, not dramatic, but steady, intentional, and filled with my presence. I arranged this moment because your heart needed it. Because doubt has been whispering to you. Because fear has tried to convince you that you are unseen. Because circumstances have tried to tell you that nothing is changing. But I am telling you now, my beloved child, something is shifting. Something is aligning. Something is moving behind the scenes that you cannot yet see. Do not brush this aside as coincidence. Do not minimize the timing. When I want to reach you, I know how to reach you. When I want to comfort you, I know exactly where your heart is tender. And when I want to redirect your steps, I know how to gently turn your attention. This message found you because I wanted it to find you. And before we go any further, I need you to receive this truth deeply. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. And you are not walking through this season alone. I am here. And I am about to speak directly into the very thing you have been carrying. My beloved child, I saw you before you ever clicked on this message. I saw you when you were sitting quietly, lost in thought. I saw you when you were pretending to be strong for everyone else. I saw you when you stared at the ceiling at night, your mind racing with questions you could not silence. Nothing about your struggle has escaped my eyes. You may feel unnoticed by the world around you. You may feel as though your efforts go unrecognized, your sacrifices unseen, your tears wiped away before anyone else can catch them. But I have caught every tear. I heard every sigh. Even the prayers you did not know how to form into words reached me clearly. There were moments when you simply whispered, "Help me." Moments when your heart spoke louder than your voice ever could. I was there. I did not turn away. I did not grow distant. In fact, I leaned closer. You see, my beloved child, I am not watching you from far away. I am not observing your life as a stranger. I am involved in every detail. When your heart tightened with anxiety, I felt it. When disappointment hit you like a wave, I stood beside you in it. When you questioned your worth, I was already preparing this moment to remind you who you truly are. There were times you wondered if I heard you at all. You looked at your situation and thought, if God sees this, why hasn't anything changed? But what you could not see was the quiet work happening beneath the surface. Like roots growing deep under the soil before any green appears above ground, I have been building something in you and around you. I saw the courage it took for you to keep showing up. I saw the strength you did not even realize you possessed. Every time you chose not to give up, even when giving up felt easier, I saw it. Every time you swallowed your fear and took one more step forward, I saw it. You may call it survival. I call it resilience that I placed inside you. There were also moments of doubt. Moments when you compared yourself to others and felt behind. Moments when you thought you had missed your chance. I saw those thoughts forming, and I gently reminded your spirit that your timeline is not the same as anyone else's. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are exactly where you need to be for what I am preparing. Even your distractions did not surprise me. Even the times you tried to numb the pain or avoid the questions in your heart, I understood. I did not respond with anger. I responded with patience. Because I know your frame. I know your history. I know the wounds that shape your reactions. My beloved child, this message reaching you now is evidence of my awareness. I know the crossroads you are standing at. I know the decision weighing on your mind. I know the fear of making the wrong move. And I am telling you gently, you are not navigating this alone. Before you asked for clarity, I was already arranging it. Before you prayed for strength, I was already supplying it. Before you searched for confirmation, I was already guiding you toward it. There is nothing random about my timing. I know when your heart is most open. I know when your spirit is ready to receive reassurance. And I knew that today, right now, you needed to hear that I see you fully and completely. You are not invisible to me. You are not a background character in someone else's story. You are my beloved child. Your life matters. Your feelings matter. Your journey matters. And as we continue, I want you to hold this truth close. I have been with you in every hidden moment, and I will not step away now. What feels uncertain to you is already known to me. What feels fragile to you is already held in my hands. Trust that the one who sees everything has not missed a single detail of your life. I saw you before you clicked, and I am still watching over you with unwavering love. My beloved child, I know the weight you have been carrying. You try to move through your days as if everything is manageable, as if the pressure on your shoulders is not slowly wearing you down. But I see it. I see how tired you truly are. There is a heaviness that has followed you lately. It sits quietly in your chest. It lingers in your thoughts. It whispers to you when the room grows silent. You have responsibilities to meet, expectations to fulfill, roles to play. And while others may see you functioning, they do not see the effort it takes just to keep going. You have been strong for so long. Strong for your family. Strong for your friends. Strong in situations where you felt you had no choice but to endure. But strength does not mean you are not exhausted. Strength does not mean you do not sometimes wish someone would notice that you need support too. I see the emotional burdens you rarely speak about. The disappointment that still stings. The words that hurt more than you admitted. The opportunities that slip away. The plans that did not unfold the way you hoped. You told yourself to move on, to be mature, to accept it. But part of you is still carrying those moments. And then there are the private fears. The quiet worries about your future. The questions about whether you are doing enough, being enough, becoming enough. You measure yourself against invisible standards and feel like you are falling short. My beloved child, Those standards were never given by me. You were not created to live under constant pressure. You were not designed to carry every burden alone. Yet somewhere along the way, you convinced yourself that you had to hold it all together without breaking. I want you to imagine something for a moment. Picture yourself carrying a heavy bag filled with stones. Each stone represents a worry, a regret, a fear, a responsibility. At first, the weight felt manageable. But over time, as more stones were added, your steps became slower. Your shoulders began to ache. Still, you refused to set the bag down because you believed it was your duty to carry it. My beloved child, you were never meant to carry that bag by yourself. Some of the weight you are holding does not even belong to you. It belongs to other people's expectations. It belongs to past mistakes that I have already forgiven. It belongs to situations outside of your control. Yet you have taken ownership of it all. I do not speak this to condemn you. I speak this to free you. It is not weakness to admit that you are tired. It is not failure to acknowledge that you feel overwhelmed. In fact, honesty about your limits is the first step toward peace. I am not disappointed in your exhaustion. I am compassionate toward it. You have been fighting battles in your mind that no one else can see. You replay conversations. You imagine worst-case scenarios. You question decisions you already made. And all the while, your heart longs for rest. Let me tell you something gently, but clearly. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to breathe without feeling guilty. You are allowed to release what you cannot control. The weight you feel does not define you. It does not determine your worth. It does not cancel your future. It is simply evidence that you have been trying very hard for a very long time. Come closer to me in this moment. Not with polished words. Not with perfect faith. Just as you are. Bring the heaviness. Bring the confusion. Bring the fatigue. I am not intimidated by your burdens. I am not overwhelmed by your emotions. I am a father who sees his child straining under a load that was never meant to crush them. Let me carry what you cannot. Let me steady what feels unstable. Let me remind you that your value does not decrease because you feel tired. You have done your best with what you knew. You have survived more than you give yourself credit for. And even now, as you listen to these words, I am gently lifting some of that weight from your shoulders. You are not weak for feeling this way. You are human. And you are deeply loved in the middle of your exhaustion. My beloved child, listen closely to me now. This moment is not random. It is not an accident of timing. It is not a coincidence woven together by chance. I am intentional in all that I do, and that includes you being here, hearing these words, at this exact point in your life. You may think you simply came across this message, but I guided your steps more gently than you realize. You often look at your life and see fragments. You see isolated events that seem disconnected from one another. A door closed unexpectedly. A relationship shifted without warning. A plan you were certain about slowly unraveled in your hands. From where you stand, it can feel confusing, even chaotic. But I do not operate in chaos. I see the beginning and the end at the same time. I see what you cannot yet see. Imagine a master artist standing before a canvas. Up close, the brushstrokes may look uneven. The colors may seem misplaced. If you step too near, the image does not make sense. But when you step back, when you allow the full picture to come into view, beauty emerges from what once looked disordered. My beloved child, you are standing too close to the canvas of your life. I am the one holding the brush. When something ended and you felt disappointed, you thought it was loss. But I saw protection. When an opportunity slipped away, you thought it was failure. But I saw misalignment. When you felt delayed and left behind, I saw preparation taking place within you that could not be rushed. There are conversations you never heard that I shielded you from. There are outcomes you never experienced that would have broken your spirit. There are paths you almost walked down that would have drained your peace. You did not see the danger, but I did. And because I love you, I redirected you, even when the redirection felt uncomfortable. You have asked me quietly, why did this happen? Why did that not work out? And sometimes you felt as though I was silent. But silence does not mean absence. It often means that I am working in places you cannot yet reach. Just because you can't see movement does not mean nothing is moving. Think of a seed planted deep beneath the soil. For a long time, there is no visible change. The ground looks the same as it did before. But beneath the surface, life is forming. Roots are stretching. Strength is developing. Climbing is aligning. If the seed were forced upward too soon, it would not survive the elements. So it grows in hidden places first. That is how I often work in your life. My beloved child, I am not careless with your destiny. I do not overlook details. I do not forget promises. The delays you resent may be the very things that preserve you. The detours you question may be the very routes that protect your future joy. Even this message is part of my orchestration. You might say to yourself, it was just timing. It was just chance. But I know when your heart is tender. I know when your spirit is weary. I know when you are most ready to receive reassurance instead of resisting it. I brought you here because your heart needed steadiness, and I am your steady place. You are not wandering through life without direction. Even when you feel uncertain, I am guiding you. Even when you feel confused, I am aligning things in ways that will one day make sense to you. The closed door was not rejection, it was redirection. The waiting season is not punishment, it is preparation. If you could see the full design I am weaving, your worry would soften. If you could glimpse how every thread, every joy, every disappointment, every lesson is being stitched together, you would realize that nothing has been wasted. Trust me in this. Your story is not random. Your steps are not unnoticed. Your life is not unfolding without intention. I am orchestrating details you cannot yet comprehend. I am aligning people you have not yet met. I am shaping circumstances that will reveal themselves at the right time. And when the moment comes, you will look back and understand that even this season had purpose. My beloved child, you are not lost in chance. You are held in intention. My beloved child, there is a voice that has been whispering to you, and it has not been mine. It is subtle, persistent, and often sounds like your own thoughts. It tells you that you are not enough, and tells you that you will fail. It tells you that something bad is about to happen. And voice is fear. Fear hath been sitting quietly in the corners of your mind, waiting for moments of silence so it can speak louder. It shows up when you are about to take a step forward. It tightens your chest when you think about the future. It reminds you of past mistakes and tries to convince you that history will repeat itself. I see how it has been affecting you. I see how it makes you hesitate. I see how it steals your peace before anything has even gone wrong. You begin to imagine outcomes that have not happened. You prepare for rejection that has not come. You brace yourself for loss before there is any sign of it. My beloved child, fear has been asking you to live in a future that does not exist. But listen carefully. Fear is not your guide. Fear is not your protector. It pretends to keep you safe, but often it keeps you small. It tells you to shrink your dreams so you will not be disappointed. It tells you to avoid risk so you will not be hurt. It tells you to expect the worst so you will not be caught off guard. Yet in doing so, it quietly drains your joy. There were moments when you felt excited about something new. A new idea, a new opportunity, a new possibility. And then fear stepped in and said, "What if you are not ready? What if you embarrass yourself? What if this fails?" And slowly, your excitement faded into caution. My beloved child, I did not create you to live in constant anticipation of disaster. I created you with courage woven into your spirit. Courage does not mean you never feel afraid. It means you choose to move forward even when fear tries to block your path. You have believed some things about yourself that are simply not true. You have believed that you are too behind, too flawed, too inexperienced, too weak. Those thoughts did not come from me. I see you as capable. I see you as growing. I see you as someone learning and becoming stronger with each challenge faced. Fear often grows louder when you are standing on the edge of growth. When you are about to enter a new season, fear tries to convince you to stay where it is familiar. Familiar may feel safe, but it does not always lead to fulfillment. I am calling you forward, not backward. Think of a child learning to walk. There is wobbling. There are small falls. There is uncertainty in each step. But there is also progress. If the child listened only to fear, they would never stand up again after the first fall. Yet they try again and again until walking becomes natural. In the same way, you are learning, growing, stretching beyond what once felt comfortable. I am not asking you to ignore fear. I am asking you to stop giving it authority. When fear speaks, bring it into the light of my truth. When it tells you that you are alone, remember that I am with you. When it tells you that you will fail, remember that even your mistakes can be shaped into lessons and strength. When it tells you that you are not enough, remember that I formed you with intention and care. My beloved child, you do not have to let fear decide your future. You do not have to let worst-case scenarios control your present peace. You are allowed to hope. You are allowed to believe that good can come to you. You are allowed to trust that I am walking beside you into whatever comes next. Fear may whisper, but my voice is stronger. My voice speaks peace over your mind. My voice speaks assurance over your heart. My voice reminds you that you are held, guided, and protected. You are not meant to live shrinking back. You are meant to live moving forward with quiet confidence, knowing that I am with you in every uncertain step. My beloved child, draw closer in your heart as you listen to me now, because what I am about to remind you of will steady your spirit. I am closer than you think, closer than your worries, closer than your doubts, closer than the very thoughts moving through your mind. You may not always feel me, but my presence is not dependent on your feelings. I am near to you in every moment, whether your heart is calm or restless. You sometimes imagine distance between us because you measure closeness by emotion. When you feel peaceful, you assume I am near. When you feel anxious or overwhelmed, you assume I have stepped back. But my beloved child, I do not move away when your emotions shift. I am constant. I do not withdraw when you are confused. I do not disappear when you are tired. I remain. There were nights when you lay awake, staring into the darkness, your mind replaying conversations and worrying about tomorrow. You may have felt isolated in those hours, as if no one understood the weight pressing on your chest. Yet I was there in that quiet room. I was present in your sighs. I was attentive to the tears you quickly wiped away. I did not look at your restlessness with frustration. I looked at you with compassion. I am not watching your life from a distance. I am involved in it. When you take a deep breath to calm yourself, I am in that breath. When your heart slows after a moment of panic, I am in that slowing. When you find strength you did not think you had, the strength flows from my nearness. You do not have to travel somewhere special to find me. You do not have to reach a higher level of perfection. I am with you in your ordinary routines. When you are driving alone with your thoughts, I am there. When you are completing small tasks that feel unnoticed, I am there. When you are surrounded by others but feel misunderstood, I am still there. My beloved child, I have seen the times when you whispered, "God, where are you?" You asked it quietly, perhaps afraid to admit your doubt. But I was not offended by your question. I understood the ache behind it. The truth is, I was sitting beside you in that very moment. The problem was not my absence. It was the noise of fear and distraction clouding your awareness. Imagine a steady light shining in a room. If the room fills with smoke, the light does not disappear. It simply becomes harder to see clearly. In the same way, when worry fills your mind, my presence can feel hidden. But I am still shining. I am still steady. I have not dimmed. There have been moments when you felt you barely made it through the day. You thought your endurance was your own effort alone. But I was strengthening you quietly. I was holding you up when you felt like collapsing. I was guiding your decisions even when you thought you were guessing your way forward. I am close in your joy as well. When you laugh unexpectedly. When hope flickers back to life. When something beautiful catches your attention and softens your heart. Those moments are not separate from me. I am woven into them. My beloved child, I am not a distant observer. I am a present father. When you feel weak, I am your support. When you feel uncertain, I am your stability. When you feel unseen, I am the one who sees fully and loves completely. Even now, as you hear my voice in these words, I am nearer than your next breath. You do not have to strive to pull me closer. You do not have to beg for my attention. You already have it. Completely. Constantly. You are never walking alone, even when the path feels empty. You are never facing a challenge unsupported. You are never speaking into silence. I am here, my beloved child. I have always been here, and I will not step away. My beloved child, there is something I need you to understand about the waiting season you have been in. The delay you are experiencing is not a denial. The silence you have felt is not rejection. The pause in your plans is not proof that I have said no. Sometimes what feels like a closed door is simply time being shaped in your favor. You have prayed for certain things with sincerity. You have asked for clarity, for breakthrough, for movement. And when those things did not arrive as quickly as you hoped, doubt tried to take root. You began to wonder if you had been overlooked. You questioned whether your prayers mattered. But I want you to hear me clearly now. I have heard every prayer. I have not ignored a single one. There is a difference between not yet and never. You often interpret waiting as absence. But waiting can be preparation. Think of a seed planted beneath the soil. When it is first buried, nothing seems to happen. Days pass. The surface looks unchanged. If you judged by what you could see, you would assume nothing is growing. But beneath the ground, roots are forming. Strength is developing in hidden places. If the seed were pushed above the surface too soon, it would not survive the wind or the heat. It needs time in the unseen place. In the same way, some of the things you are asking for require growth within you first. Not because you are inadequate, but because you are being strengthened. My beloved child, I am more concerned with your long-term peace than your short-term relief. Sometimes I delay what you desire because I am aligning circumstances that will support it properly. Sometimes I hold back what you want because I see complications you cannot see. I protect you in ways you do not always recognize. You have looked at others and thought, why did it happen for them so quickly? You compared timelines. You measured your progress against someone else's chapter. But you are not walking their path. Your journey is unique. Your preparation is specific to what I have called you to. Imagine a craftsman carefully shaping something valuable. He does not rush the process. He sands rough edges. He measures precisely. He adjusts patiently. If he rushed, the final piece would lack strength and stability. I am shaping parts of your character, deepening your resilience, teaching you trust. These lessons will support the blessing when it comes. I know it is hard to wait. I know uncertainty can feel heavy. But delay does not mean I have forgotten you. In fact, it often means I am working more closely than ever. The silence you experience is not emptiness. It is construction happening out of sight. There are connections being formed that you cannot yet see. There are details aligning in ways that will make sense later. There are moments ahead that require you to be stronger, wiser, steadier than you were before. The waiting is shaping you for what is coming. My beloved child, do not mistake stillness for stagnation. Just because things appear unchanged does not mean progress is absent. Growth is often quiet. Transformation often begins in hidden places. You may feel impatient. You may feel tempted to force something forward. But trust that I am not so. I am precise. I am not withholding goodness from you. I am preparing goodness for you in the right measure and at the right time. When the answer comes, it will not arrive fragile and unstable. It will arrive supported by the growth you gained in this season. And you will look back and realize that the waiting was not punishment. It was protection. It was preparation. It was love expressed in patience. Hold steady, my beloved child. What feels delayed is still on its way in the timing that will serve you best. I have not said no. I have simply said, trust me a little longer. My beloved child, I want to speak to the battle that has been taking place in your mind. It is a battle few people see, yet it drains you more than any physical task ever could. Your thoughts have been restless. Your mind has been crowded. Even when your body is still, your thinking does not seem to slow down. You replay conversations long after they have ended. You analyze decisions you already made. You imagine different outcomes, different responses, different futures. You ask yourself, what if I chose wrong? What if this goes badly? What if I am not prepared? And without realizing it, you exhaust yourself trying to control what has not even happened. I see how heavy this mental tension has become. I see how it steals your peace in quiet moments. You try to distract yourself, to stay busy, to push the thoughts aside. But when everything becomes silent, they return. They whisper worst-case scenarios. They magnify small concerns into overwhelming fears. My beloved child, your mind was not created to carry constant anxiety. It was designed to imagine, to create, to reflect, to learn. But when fear takes hold, it twists imagination into worry. It turns reflection into regret. It turns planning into panic. You have been trying to solve tomorrow's problems with today's strength. You have been trying to predict every outcome so you will not be caught off guard. But you are not meant to foresee every detail of your future. That responsibility is not yours. It is mine. Think of a traveler walking a path at night with a small lantern. The lantern does not illuminate the entire road. It shows only the next few steps. Yet that is enough to keep moving safely forward. In the same way, I give you light for the step you are on. When you demand clarity for the entire journey at once, your mind becomes overwhelmed. There is a difference between wisdom and worry. Wisdom considers what is necessary and then rests. Worry circles the same thought repeatedly, searching for certainty that it cannot produce. I do not ask you to shut down your thinking. I ask you to release the need to control what is beyond you. My beloved child, peace is not the absence of uncertainty. Peace is the presence of trust. When your thoughts begin to spiral, pause. Notice them. Then gently remind yourself that you are not alone in this decision, this season, this unknown future. I am walking with you through it. You have assumed that if you think hard enough, long enough, you can prevent mistakes. But growth does not come from flawless decisions. It comes from learning, adjusting, and trusting that even missteps can be redirected. I am able to guide you even when you do not choose perfectly. There are nights when you wish your mind would simply rest. You wish for quiet inside your own head. My beloved child, I offer you that quiet, not by removing every question, but by reminding you that you are held. Imagine setting down a heavy book you have been studying for hours. At some point, continuing to stare at the pages does not produce clarity. It produces fatigue. In the same way, constantly revisiting the same worries does not create solutions. It creates strain. You do not need to carry every possibility in your thoughts. You do not need to brace yourself for every imagined outcome. When anxiety rises, bring it to me. Speak it honestly. Then allow yourself to release it. I am not overwhelmed by your questions. I am not threatened by your doubts. I am patient with your restless mind, and I am able to bring clarity at the right time. You are allowed to rest mentally. You are allowed to trust that what you cannot figure out today will unfold step by step. Let your thoughts settle. Let your heart breathe. I am guarding you, even in the unseen spaces of your mind. My beloved child, I know there have been moments when you felt invisible. Not in a loud or dramatic way, but in a quiet, lingering way that settles deep in your heart. You fulfilled your responsibilities. You kept your promises. You showed kindness when it was not returned. And still, it felt as though no one truly noticed the effort it took for you to keep going. You watched others being celebrated. You saw their achievements highlighted, their milestones applauded, and while part of you felt joy for them, another part of you quietly wondered, does anyone see me? Does what I do even matter? That question has echoed in your thoughts more times than you would like to admit. My beloved child, you are not forgotten. There has never been a single day of your life that escaped my awareness. Every early morning you woke up tired but determined. I saw you. Every time you chose patience instead of anger, I saw you. Every time you held back tears so you could remain strong for someone else, I saw you. You may have felt unseen by the world, but you have never been unseen by me. You have been tempted to measure your value by recognition. You have equated visibility with importance. When others receive praise and you do not, it is easy to assume you are less significant. But your worth was never designed to depend on applause. Your value does not rise when people affirm you, and it does not fall when they overlook you. Your worth is constant because it comes from me. There were moments when you chose integrity even though it cost you attention. You chose humility when you could have demanded credit. You remained faithful in small tasks that no one else wanted to do. Those moments were not wasted. They were not invisible in the way that truly matters. They shaped your character. They strengthen your spirit. Imagine a foundation being poured for a building. No one gathers to admire it. No one posts pictures of it. Yet without that hidden foundation, nothing stable could stand above it. In the same way, much of your growth has happened beneath the surface. It has been quiet. It has been unseen. But it has been essential. You have grown in ways you barely recognize. You have developed patience through waiting. You have developed empathy through pain. You have developed resilience through disappointment. Even when no one applauded your endurance, it mattered deeply. My beloved child, I also know there have been times when you felt unheard. You prayed softly. You hoped quietly. You asked for guidance without dramatic words. And when answers did not arrive instantly, you wondered if your voice was too small. But I hear whispers just as clearly as cries. Your softest prayer reaches me without delay. Your name is known to me. Your story is important to me. You are not an afterthought in my creation. You are intentional. You are uniquely formed. There is no one else who carries your exact combination of experiences, strengths, and perspective. When you feel unnoticed, remember that I see beyond surface appearances. I see the effort behind your actions. I see the discipline behind your progress. I see the courage behind your quiet endurance. I see the compassion you extend even when you are hurting yourself. There are seasons when visibility is limited, not because you lack value, but because you are being prepared. Some growth requires privacy. Some strengthening happens best away from noise. Just as roots grow deeper in hidden soil before a tree stretches high into the sky, you have been developing depth in unseen places. Do not compare your timeline to someone else's. Do not assume that because another person's journey looks brighter right now, yours is dim. You are walking a path designed specifically for you. Your pace is not a mistake. Your process is not flawed. Even when the world does not call your name, I do. Even when people overlook your effort, I acknowledge it. Even when you feel like you blend into the background, you remain central to my heart. You are remembered. You are valued. You are deeply known. Hold on to this truth when invisibility tries to convince you otherwise. You are never forgotten, not for a moment, not for a second. You are seen fully, loved completely, and held securely in my unwavering attention. My beloved child, something is shifting even now. You may not see it with your eyes yet, but you can feel it in your spirit. The heaviness that once felt permanent is beginning to loosen. The confusion that surrounded you is slowly clearing like fog lifting in the early morning light. A transition is taking place. For a long time, you have felt as though you were standing still, waiting for change that never seemed to arrive. You questioned whether your efforts were leading anywhere. You wondered if your prayers were making any difference. But I tell you now, movement has already begun. Shifts do not always announce themselves loudly. They often begin quietly, deep within. A new way of thinking. A new level of strength. A new sense of awareness. You may notice that things that once disturbed you no longer hold the same power. You may sense courage rising where fear once dominated. That is not accidental. That is growth. My beloved child, the season of constant heaviness is not your permanent home. The struggle you endured was shaping you, but it was never meant to define you. I have been preparing you for clarity, for confidence, for doors that align with who you are becoming. There are conversations about to unfold that will confirm what you have been hoping for. There are opportunities forming that match the strength you developed in private. There are answers approaching that will make sense of the waiting. Do not resist the shift because it feels unfamiliar. Sometimes you grow so accustomed to surviving that thriving feels strange. Sometimes peace feels unfamiliar because you have known tension for so long. But you are allowed to step into something lighter. You are allowed to receive good things without bracing for loss. I am opening spaces in your life where clarity will replace confusion. I am aligning circumstances that will support your next steps. You are not moving backward. You are moving forward, even if the pace feels gradual. Trust the small signs of change. Trust the new ideas forming in your mind. Trust the quiet confidence building within you. This is not imagination. This is transition. The same way dawn arrives slowly but surely, this new chapter is rising. You may still see traces of darkness, but light is increasing. Do not lose heart now. You are closer than you think to the breakthrough you have been asking for. My beloved child, as this shift unfolds, I want you to understand that what I am doing in your life is not meant to stop with you. When I bring light into your situation, it becomes a light for others. When I restore your strength, it becomes hope for someone watching silently. There are many who feel lost, just as you once did. There are many who are waiting for reassurance, just as you were. And when you choose to help spread this message of love and restoration, you become part of that divine movement. When I place it on your heart to give, to sow, to support the spreading of my word, it is not about helping a channel. It is about helping reach a soul that is crying in the dark. As it is written, I tell you that the seed you sow will not return empty, but it will accomplish what I send it to do. When you respond through super thanks, through membership, or through the PayPal link provided in the description, and even through the QR code placed before you, you are planting light where someone else only sees night. This is your moment of obedience. This is your opportunity to let generosity become an act of faith. I see your desire to be part of something eternal. Act on it now. Sow into this mission, and watch how I multiply what you release. Those who give with faith will reap with joy. Step forward and do not delay. My beloved child, the shift has begun. Walk into it with trust. My beloved child, what you thought was the end was never truly the end. I know how final it felt. I know how the door closed with a sound that echoed in your heart. I know how you stood there, staring at what was no longer available to you, wondering how everything changed so quickly. But what looked like a conclusion was often a redirection. You have a habit of writing endings too soon. When something falls apart, you assume the story is finished. When a relationship shifts, you assume love has failed you. When a plan does not unfold the way you imagined, you assume you misheard me. But I see chapters where you see full stops. Imagine a traveler walking toward a road that suddenly ends at a cliff. From the traveler's perspective, it feels like disaster. The path seemed promising, the direction felt right, and then without warning, it stopped. But what the traveler cannot see is that just around the bend, hidden by trees and distance, another road continues, safer, stronger, leading to a destination far better suited for them. My beloved child, some endings were cliffs I refused to let you fall from. You mourned opportunities that slipped through your fingers. You replayed conversations, wondering what you could have said differently. You questioned yourself. You questioned me. But I was not abandoning you. I was protecting you. I was redirecting your steps toward something that aligns more deeply with who you are becoming. There are relationships you begged me to preserve, not realizing they were limiting your growth. There were paths you insisted were perfect, not realizing they would have drained your peace. I do not remove things lightly. I do not close doors carelessly. When I allow something to end, it is because I see the full landscape ahead. It is natural to grieve what did not work out. I am not asking you to pretend it did not matter. It mattered because you invested your heart. But grief does not mean failure. It means you cared. And caring is not weakness. What you thought was the end was often a turning point. You have grown more from what did not happen than from what did. A disappointment sharpened your discernment. The loss deepened your compassion. The unexpected shift strengthened your resilience. My beloved child, you are not standing in ruins. You are standing at a crossroads. One path behind you has closed, but another is opening ahead. The challenge is that the new path does not look like the old one. It may feel unfamiliar. It may require courage. But it carries promise. You have feared starting over. You have feared that too much time has passed, that too much energy was wasted. But nothing you experienced was wasted. Every lesson, every conversation, every attempt shaped you. Even the mistakes refined your understanding. Think of a sculptor chiseling stone. Each strike of the tool removes something that does not belong. To the stone, it might feel like loss, but to the sculptor, it is progress toward the intended form. In the same way, what was removed from your life was not random destruction. It was refinement. I know you sometimes wish I had explained everything beforehand. You wish you had been warned about the ending. But if you had known every detail, you might have resisted the very change that was necessary for your growth. Sometimes understanding comes after obedience. Sometimes clarity follows trust. My beloved child, do not define your life by what ended. Define it by what is still possible. The closing of one chapter does not erase the rest of your story. There are pages yet to be written, experiences yet to be lived, connections yet to be formed. Lift your eyes from the closed door. Turn your attention to the horizon. What you thought was the end was simply me guiding you toward a better beginning. Trust that I do not close chapters without preparing new ones. And this new chapter will carry purpose, growth, and a deeper sense of alignment than you have known before. My beloved child, while you have been focusing on what you can see, I have been working in places you cannot. There is healing happening within you, even if you do not fully recognize it yet. Not loud healing, not instant healing, but steady, quiet restoration unfolding beneath the surface. Some of your wounds are old. They do not always show themselves openly, but they influence how you respond to situations. A sharp word from someone touches a deeper bruise. A small rejection echoes a larger memory. You sometimes react not only to the present moment, but to past pain that was never fully resolved. I have seen every hurt you endured, the disappointment that came when you trusted and were let down, the criticism that lingered longer than it should have, the silence from someone you needed, even the moments when you blamed yourself for things that were never truly your fault. None of those experiences were invisible to me. Healing does not always feel dramatic. Sometimes it feels like slow detachment from what once triggered you deeply. Sometimes it feels like a new sense of calm where there used to be sharp emotion. Sometimes it feels like the ability to think about the past without your chest tightening the way it once did. My beloved child, you may still feel sensitive in certain areas, and that does not mean you are broken. It means you are human. But I want you to know that I am gently mending what was torn. Imagine a fractured bone. At first, it is painful and unstable. It must be set carefully. It must be given time. During that time, you may not see visible change, but beneath the surface, cells are rebuilding, knitting the break back together. Eventually, strength returns. In some cases, the healed area becomes stronger than before. In the same way, parts of your heart that felt fractured are being restored. The trust you thought you lost forever is being rebuilt. The confidence that was shaken is forming again, piece by piece. The sense of safety you once lacked is slowly returning. You have wondered why certain memories still surface unexpectedly. You have questioned why some emotions feel disproportionate to the situation at hand. But healing is not linear. It unfolds in layers. Sometimes I bring certain memories to your awareness not to reopen wounds, but to cleanse them fully. There were coping patterns you developed just to survive. Walls you built to avoid being hurt again. Distance you created to feel safe. I do not condemn you for those defenses. They helped you endure. But now I am teaching you that you no longer need to live guarded in the same way. My beloved child, healing also means forgiving yourself. You have carried regret for choices you made when you were hurting. You have replayed decisions, wishing you had known better. But you acted with the understanding you had at the time. Growth means you see differently now. That is progress, not shame. I am not rushing your restoration. I am patient. I know that deep wounds require careful attention. I know that rebuilding trust takes time. But every day, even when you do not notice it, something inside you is becoming steadier. You may find that what once triggered anger now produces understanding. What once caused panic now creates pause instead. What once felt unbearable now feels manageable. Those are signs of healing. Do not be discouraged if you are not fully healed yet. Healing is a journey, not a switch. And you are moving forward. I am restoring not only what was damaged, but also strengthening you beyond what you were before. Your compassion is deeper. Your discernment is sharper. Your boundaries are wiser. These are fruits of healing. Trust that the work I am doing within you is real. Even if it is invisible to others, even if it is subtle, it is powerful. My beloved child, I am healing what you cannot see. And in time, you will look back and realize that the pain that once defined you has lost its power over you. My beloved child, the storm you have been walking through has felt long, relentless, and at times unbearable. I know there were nights when you wondered how much more you could take. I know there were mornings when getting out of bed required more strength than anyone around you realized. The winds of uncertainty blew hard against your confidence. The rain of disappointment soaked into your thoughts, and you questioned whether this storm would ever pass. But hear me clearly now, this storm has not come to destroy you. It has come to develop you. Storms test structures. When strong winds strike a building, weaknesses are revealed. Foundations are examined. What is fragile begins to shake, and what is deeply rooted proves its strength. In the same way, the challenges you have faced have been testing your inner foundation. And though you felt shaken, you did not collapse. You may not feel strong. You may feel tired. But endurance is a form of strength. Continuing when you would rather quit is strength. Choosing not to give in to bitterness is strength. Waking up and trying again, even after disappointment, is strength. My beloved child, before this season, you underestimated your resilience. You thought certain pressures would break you. You believed certain outcomes would end you. Yet here you are. You have cried, yes. You have questioned, yes. But you are still standing. Think of a tree during a violent storm. Its branches whip in the wind. Leaves may fall. A trunk may sway. But if its roots run deep, it remains. A storm does not uproot it. Instead, the resistance actually strengthens its roots further. Your roots have been growing deeper through resistance. There were conversations that forced you to confront truths you once avoided. There were disappointments that stripped away illusions. There were delays that tested your patience beyond what felt fair. Yet each of these moments carved something within you. They shaped your discernment. They sharpened your awareness. They deepened your empathy. Iron placed in fire becomes refined. The heat separates impurities and increases durability. Fire is uncomfortable, but it produces strength that cannot be achieved any other way. The pressures you have faced have been refining your character. They have burned away certain fears. They have revealed courage you did not know you possessed. You have learned who truly stands beside you and who fades away when circumstances grow difficult. You have learned to rely less on unstable foundations and more on what is steady. You have learned that your identity cannot be built solely on external success or approval. My beloved child, storms also cleanse. Heavy rain washes dust from the air and refreshes the earth. Though uncomfortable, it prepares the ground for new growth. The tears you shed were not meaningless. They softened hardened places in your heart. They allowed compassion to grow where resentment could have taken root. You may not see the growth yet because you are still emerging from the storm. When skies are still cloudy, it is hard to appreciate how much the ground hath been nourished. But in time, you will see new strength in your responses. You will notice greater calm in situations that once overwhelmed you. You will recognize wisdom in your decisions that you did not have before. Strength does not always feel powerful. Often it feels like quiet perseverance. It feels like breathing through anxiety instead of surrendering to it. It feels like choosing hope when circumstances suggest doubt. A storm is not permanent. The winds will calm. The rain will slow. And when the sun rises again, you will see that you are not the same person who entered this season. You are steadier. You are wiser. You are more grounded. My beloved child, do not despise the storm. It has not weakened you. It has fortified you. It has built resilience into your spirit. It has deepened your roots so that future winds will not shake you as easily. Trust that I walk with you in every gust and every downpour. And trust that when the skies clear, you will stand stronger than before. Aware that the storm did not come to end you. It came to prepare you. My beloved child, there is something I am gently inviting you to do now. It is not easy, and I will not rush you, but it is necessary for your peace. I am asking you to loosen your grip on what hurt you. You have carried certain memories like stones in your hands. Some are small but sharp. Others are heavy and difficult to lift. You replay the words that wounded you. You remember the moment trust was broken. You revisit the disappointment that changed your direction. Even when you try to move forward, part of you keeps holding those stones tightly, afraid that if you release them, you are saying the pain did not matter. But letting go does not mean the pain was insignificant. It means you are choosing freedom over captivity. When you hold on to hurt for too long, it begins to shape how you see everything. You become guarded. You expect betrayal. You anticipate rejection. You protect yourself so fiercely that you struggle to receive love when it comes. The wound that once required protection slowly becomes a wall that blocks healing. My beloved child, I am not asking you to pretend nothing happened. I am not asking you to trust blindly. I am asking you to release the bitterness that keeps reopening the wound. Imagine walking a long road while carrying a backpack filled with rocks. At first, you barely notice the weight. But as the journey continues, your shoulders ache. Your steps slow. You grow weary more quickly than you should. The road itself may not be impossible, but the extra weight makes it feel unbearable. The rocks are the unresolved hurts you keep carrying. You were never meant to carry them forever. There are people who failed you. There are words that cut deeply. There are moments you wish you could erase. But holding on to those moments does not change them. It only extends their influence over your present. Forgiveness is not about declaring that what happened was acceptable. It is about choosing not to let it control your future. It is about setting down the stone and saying, "This will not define me." My beloved child, I see how difficult this feels. Some wounds are layered. They connect to older pains, to patterns you have experienced more than once. Letting go feels risky. You fear that if you release the anger, you will be vulnerable again. But understand this: forgiveness does not remove your wisdom. It does not erase discernment. You can forgive and still have boundaries. You can release bitterness and still protect your heart with clarity. When you cling to hurt, it quietly shapes your identity. You begin to see yourself through the lens of what was done to you. But you are more than your wounds. You are more than the disappointment. You are more than the betrayal. I am inviting you into a lighter way of walking. Imagine opening your hands one by one and letting the stones fall to the ground. The road does not disappear. The journey continues. But your shoulders feel lighter. Your steps become steadier. The energy that was once spent gripping pain is now free to build something new. My beloved child, healing deepens when forgiveness begins. You may not feel ready to release everything at once. That is all right. Start with one stone, one memory, one moment. Place it in my hands. Trust me with the justice you cannot control. Trust me with the outcomes you cannot rewrite. You do not need to carry what I am willing to hold for you. Letting go is not weakness. It is strength choosing freedom. It is courage saying, "I will not let this pain shape the rest of my life." You deserve peace that is not constantly interrupted by old wounds. You deserve joys that is not filtered through past betrayal. You deserve a future that is not chained to former hurt. My beloved child, open your hands. Release what harmed you. Walk forward, Lidu. I am with you, steady and faithful, as you step into freedom. My beloved child, you were chosen for this season, even if you do not yet understand why. The place where you stand right now, the responsibilities you carry, the challenges you face, the opportunities before you, are not random assignments. They are part of a design that fits who you are becoming. You sometimes look at your circumstances and think, "I am not ready for this. I am not equipped for this. Someone else would handle this better." But I do not place you in moments by mistake. I do not entrust you with seasons that are beyond what you can grow into. You have been measuring yourself by your current feelings instead of by the strength I have already built within you. You feel uncertain, so you assume you are incapable. You feel stretched, so you assume you are unprepared. But stretching is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of growth. Think of a muscle being trained. When resistance is applied, there is discomfort. There is strain. But that very resistance is what produces strength. Without it, there would be no development. The weight you are lifting in this season is shaping you into someone stronger than you were before. My beloved child, you have walked through enough to prepare you for where you are now. The lessons you learned in quieter seasons are supporting you here. The resilience formed in past storms is holding you steady now. The patience you developed during waiting is guiding your decisions today. You may not see yourself as capable, but I see the full picture. I see the courage you displayed when you thought you were barely surviving. I see the wisdom you gained from mistakes you once regretted. I see the compassion that grew from your own pain. All of these qualities are not accidents. They are preparation. You were not meant to avoid this season. You were meant to step into it. Sometimes you wish for easier circumstances. You wish the responsibilities were lighter. You wish the expectations were lower. But easier does not always mean better. There are strengths within you that only emerge under pressure. There are abilities within you that only surface when you are called to rise. My beloved child, I have not overlooked your limitations. I know exactly where you feel weak. I know the areas where doubt still lingers. Yet even those places are not disqualifications. They are invitations to rely on me more deeply. When you feel inadequate, it reminds you that you are not self-sufficient. And that is not a flaw. It is alignment. You were never meant to carry everything alone. You were meant to walk with me. There are people who will benefit from your obedience in this season. There are lessons you will teach simply by persevering. There are doors that will open because you did not retreat when things felt difficult. Do not disqualify yourself from what I have called you to simply because it feels challenging. Difficulty is not a sign that you are in the wrong place. Often it is confirmation that you are growing beyond your previous limits. My beloved child, you are more prepared than you think. The seeds planted in earlier chapters are bearing fruit now. The quiet growth that happened in private is supporting you in public moments. You were chosen for this time not because you are flawless, but because you are willing. Not because you are fearless, but because you are learning to move forward despite fear. Stand where you are with confidence. You do not need to become someone else to handle this season. You only need to trust the one who placed you here. I chose you knowing your strengths and your weaknesses. I chose you knowing your past and your potential. And I do not regret that choice. My beloved child, step fully into this season. You are not here by accident. You are here by design. My beloved child, I know that lately your life has felt unsettled, as if pieces are shifting in ways you did not plan. What once felt stable now feels uncertain. What once felt predictable now feels unclear. But I want you to understand something deeply. I am rearranging things for you, not against you. When a master builder begins renovation, the space often looks worse before it looks better. Furniture is moved. Walls are opened. Dust fills the air. For a time, it feels uncomfortable and inconvenient. If you judge the process in the middle of it, you might think everything is falling apart. But the builder sees the finished design. The temporary disruption is part of permanent improvement. In the same way, you are living in the middle of a rearrangement. There are patterns in your life that cannot follow you into your next season. There are relationships that have served their purpose and now feel distant. There are habits that once felt safe but no longer fit who you are becoming. You may interpret these shifts as loss, but often they are preparation. My beloved child, you have been praying for growth. You have asked for clarity. You have desired peace and progress. But growth requires movement. Clarity sometimes requires removal. Peace sometimes requires separation from what disturbs it. You cannot step into a new chapter while clinging tightly to the previous one. I am not stripping away good things to leave you empty. I am repositioning you so that what belongs in your future can find you ready. Think of a chessboard. Each piece is moved intentionally, not randomly. A move that seems small can set up a greater outcome several steps later. If you only look at the present move, you might not understand it. But the one who sees the whole board knows why it is necessary. I see the entire board of your life. I anticipate what is ahead. I move pieces accordingly. You may feel as though certain supports are being removed. Certain routines are being interrupted. Certain comforts are being unsettled. But comfort is not always alignment. Familiarity is not always destiny. My beloved child, there are blessings that require space to enter. If your life remained crowded with what no longer fits, there would be no room for what is meant for you. Sometimes I clear the table before placing something new upon it. You are not being scattered. You are being strategically positioned. There are conversations forming that will bring understanding. There are opportunities aligning that match the maturity you have gained. There are environments shifting so that your gifts can be used more fully. Even when you cannot see the full outcome, trust that every movement has purpose. I know you prefer stability. You prefer knowing exactly what comes next. Uncertainty can feel threatening, but uncertainty is often the doorway to deeper trust. When you cannot rely on predictable patterns, you learn to rely on me. You have tried at times to hold everything in place. You have resisted change because it felt safer to stay where you were. But remaining where you are comfortable can prevent you from stepping into what you prayed for. My beloved child, the rearrangement is not random. The delays are not careless. The removals are not punishment. They are alignment. Soon, you will begin to see how the pieces fit together. You will look back at this unsettled season and realize it was necessary. You will see how closed doors redirected you toward better paths. You will see how shifted relationships created space for healthier ones. You will see how disrupted routines led to stronger foundations. For now, trust the process even if you do not understand it fully. Trust that I am not dismantling your life without rebuilding it stronger. Trust that I am not removing something without planning something better suited for your growth. My beloved child, I am rearranging things with care. I am positioning you for peace, for purpose, for a future that matches who you are becoming. The discomfort is temporary. The alignment is lasting. Stay steady. The design is unfolding. My beloved child, the answer you have been seeking is not as far away as it feels. I know there have been days when clarity seemed distant, when every direction looked uncertain, and you questioned whether you were standing still while everyone else moved forward. You have asked me for guidance. You have searched for signs. You have wondered if you missed something important along the way. But I tell you now, what you are looking for is closer than you realize. You often expect answers to arrive loudly, with unmistakable certainty. You imagine a sudden shift, a dramatic confirmation that leaves no room for doubt. But more often, I guide you through quiet unfolding. Answers develop like dawn breaking across the horizon. At first, there is only a faint hint of light. The darkness does not disappear instantly, but slowly, steadily, brightness increases. You may already sense subtle clarity forming within you. Certain options feel lighter when you consider them. Certain directions bring a calm steadiness, even if they require courage. Pay attention to that calm. Peace is often my language. At the same time, you have noticed that some paths create tension in your spirit. When you think about them, your mind grows restless. Your heart feels unsettled. That unrest is not something to ignore. It is guidance just as much as peace is. My beloved child, you have been trying to see the entire road at once. You want assurance about the final outcome before taking the next step. But I rarely reveal the full map. I provide light for the step directly in front of you. If I showed you everything at once, you might feel overwhelmed. You might try to control details that are not yours to carry. Think of a traveler walking with a lantern at night. The lantern does not illuminate miles ahead. It simply shows the next few steps. And yet, step by step, the traveler reaches the destination. You are that traveler. I am the light. You have also grown more than you recognize. The lessons you have learned over the past seasons are sharpening your discernment. Situations that once confused you are now easier to read. Patterns that once trapped you are now visible. You are not as uncertain as you think. You are becoming wiser. There are external confirmations forming around you as well. Conversations you will soon have. Opportunities that will either open fully or close clearly. Timing that will align in ways you could not predict. I am arranging circumstances that will remove doubt. The delay in clarity was not neglect. It was preparation. Certain pieces needed to fall into place. Certain strengths needed to develop within you. If the answer had arrived too soon, you might not have trusted it. You might not have been ready to walk in it confidently. My beloved child, resist the urge to force resolution out of frustration. When impatience grows, you may feel tempted to make quick decisions simply to escape uncertainty. But rushed answers often create unnecessary complications. Let clarity rise naturally. You are closer to breakthrough than you believe. Each day of waiting has been positioning you. Each moment of questioning has been deepening your trust. Each experience has refined your ability to recognize alignment. Listen carefully to your spirit. Notice where peace settles. Notice where tension persists. I am speaking through both. You are not wandering aimlessly. You are being led intentionally. Even when you feel unsure, you are not without direction. The path is forming beneath your feet. Soon, what feels uncertain will feel obvious. The answer will not feel forced. It will feel steady. It will feel right. Trust this, my beloved child. The clarity you desire is already drawing near. The door you need will become clear at the right moment. And when you step forward, you will realize that I was guiding you all along. The answer is closer than you think. My beloved child, you matter more than you have allowed yourself to believe. I know you have heard words like this before, but deep inside, there is still a part of you that questions it. You measure your value by what you accomplish, by how useful you feel, by how often others affirm you. When you are productive, you feel worthy. When you are uncertain or resting, you quietly doubt yourself. But your worth has never depended on performance. Before you succeeded at anything, you mattered. Before you failed at anything, you mattered. Before anyone praised you or overlooked you, you mattered. Your existence is not an accident. You were not placed in this world as an afterthought. Every detail of who you are carries intention. You have spent too much time comparing yourself to others. You scroll, you observe, you listen, and slowly you conclude that others are ahead of you, more gifted than you, more confident than you. Comparison has distorted your vision. It has caused you to shrink your strengths and magnify your flaws. But you were never designed to mirror someone else's life. Imagine a symphony where every instrument tries to sound the same. The music would lose its beauty. The richness comes from difference. The quiet instrument matters just as much as the loud one. The background harmony supports the melody in ways that may not draw attention, but are essential. In the same way, your presence carries a tone that no one else can replicate. My beloved child, there are people whose lives are touched by you in ways you will never fully see. The encouragement you gave when you felt tired yourself. The patience you showed when it would have been easier to react harshly. The silent prayers you whispered for others. These moments ripple outward far beyond your awareness. You often dismiss your impact because it does not look dramatic. You think that unless something is widely recognized, it does not count. But I see the unseen. I see the consistency in your character. I see the quiet integrity in your choices. I see the kindness you offer without expecting anything in return. There were moments when you felt small in a room. Perhaps someone interrupted you. Perhaps your idea was ignored. Perhaps you felt overshadowed by louder voices. And slowly, you internalized the belief that you were less important. But significance is not determined by volume. It is determined by purpose. You have also been your own harshest critic. You replay mistakes. You analyze your shortcomings. You tell yourself that you should be further along by now. You forget how much you have grown. You forget the obstacles you have already overcome. You forget the strength it took to survive certain seasons. Growth is not instant. It is layered. You are still becoming. And becoming does not mean you are lacking. It means you are developing. Think of a sculptor shaping stone. In the middle of the process, the sculpture may look unfinished. Rough edges remain. Details are incomplete. But the sculptor sees the final form. I see who you are becoming. I see courage forming where fear once dominated. I see wisdom emerging from experiences that once confused you. I see resilience strengthening through trials you thought would break you. My beloved child, you matter in spaces where you feel unnoticed. You matter in conversations where you speak carefully. You matter in relationships where you sometimes feel secondary. Your presence shifts atmospheres in ways you cannot measure. Stop reducing yourself to comparisons. Stop assuming that louder means better. Stop believing that your quiet strength is insignificant. You are not background. You are not replaceable. You are not invisible. You are intentional. You are deeply known. You are valued beyond what human recognition can measure. Even when you feel uncertain, your life carries meaning. Even when you feel small, your existence influences more than you realize. Even when you feel overlooked, you are seen completely by me. Let this truth anchor your heart. You matter because you are mine. Not because of achievement. Not because of applause. But because I formed you with care and sustain you with love. Walk forward with quiet confidence, my beloved child. Your life has weight. Your presence has purpose. And your worth has never been in question. My beloved child, I want you to understand something that may shift the way you see your recent struggles. Not every difficulty has been random. Not every distraction has been harmless. There have been subtle forces attempting to pull you away from growth, from clarity, from the very peace I have been leading you toward. Yet here you are, still listening, still seeking, still standing. That alone tells you something important. There were moments when you felt unusually discouraged for no clear reason. Moments when doubt grew louder just as you were gaining confidence. Moments when fear intensified right as you considered stepping into something new. You wondered why progress seemed to invite pressure. You questioned why forward movement felt opposed. My beloved child, resistance often increases when you are approaching breakthrough. Think of a runner nearing the finish line. The body feels the strain most intensely at the end of the race. Muscles ache. Breath shorten. The urge to stop grows stronger. But that strain is not a sign of failure. It is evidence that the finish line is close. In the same way, the mental and emotional pressure you have felt may be confirmation that you are nearer to growth than you think. Distraction has tried to occupy your attention. Small conflicts, unexpected delays, sudden waves of insecurity. You may have brushed them off as coincidence, but their pattern had a purpose: to shift your focus, to cause you to doubt your direction, to convince you that remaining comfortable is safer than stepping forward. There were times when you nearly abandoned something meaningful because discouragement whispered that it was not worth it. There were times when comparison tried to convince you that you were behind. There were times when fatigue settled over you right when clarity was beginning to form. But my beloved child, you did not completely turn away. Something within you resisted giving up entirely. That inner persistence was not accidental. It was strength I placed within you. You are more protected than you realize. There are conversations that never happen because I intervene. There are decisions you delayed because a subtle hesitation arose within you. There are paths you did not walk because something felt unsettled. That hesitation was discernment. That pause was guidance. You may not see the protection clearly, but it had been constant. I have softened outcomes that could have harmed you more deeply. I have closed doors that seemed promising but carried hidden cost. I have redirected your attention away from traps you did not recognize. Opposition does not mean abandonment. Resistance does not mean defeat. Sometimes the intensity of pressure reveals the value of what lies ahead. The greater the purpose, the stronger the pull to distract you from it. My beloved child, you were not meant to miss this season of growth. You were not meant to drift endlessly without awareness. Even when distractions multiplied, something kept drawing you back toward clarity. That is evidence of protection. There were lies that attempted to settle into your thinking. Lies that said you are too late. Lies that said you are unqualified. Lies that said you should shrink back and remain silent. But those lies did not become your identity. You are still moving forward. Do not be surprised when resistance appears near meaningful change. Do not interpret difficulty as a signal to retreat. Instead, see it as confirmation that your steps matter. You are not fighting alone. You are not navigating opposition without covering. I am shielding you in ways you cannot measure. I am guarding your path even when it feels uncertain. What is meant for you will not be stolen by distraction. What is aligned for you will not be canceled by doubt. What I have prepared for you will not be defeated by temporary resistance. Stand firm, my beloved child. The pressure you feel is not stronger than the protection surrounding you. The resistance you encounter is not greater than the purpose ahead of you. You are guided. You are strengthened. And you will not miss what hath been prepared for you. My beloved child, I know there are things you feel were taken from you. Moments you cannot relive. Opportunities that passed too quickly. Relationships that ended before you were ready. Confidence that once felt natural but now feels fragile. You have looked back at certain chapters of your life and quietly mourned what might have been. You have wondered if too much was lost, if too much damage was done, if too much time slipped away. But I want you to hear me clearly. I am restoring what was stolen from you. There were seasons when you gave everything you had. You gave your effort. You gave your loyalty. You gave your trust. And when the outcome did not match your investment, it felt as though something precious had been drained from you. You questioned your judgment. You questioned your timing. You questioned whether you should have guarded yourself more carefully. Loss has a way of convincing you that you are permanently diminished. It whispers that what is gone cannot be replaced. It tells you that you are now behind, lacking, reduced. But I do not see you as reduced. I see you as being rebuilt. Imagine a city that has endured a storm. Buildings damaged. Streets flooded. Foundations shaken. From the outside, it looks ruined. But restoration begins quietly. Debris is cleared. Stronger materials are brought in. Foundations are reinforced. What is rebuilt often stands more secure than what existed before. In the same way, parts of your life that felt damaged are being reconstructed with deeper strength. You may not recover the exact time that passed, but the wisdom you gained from that season will shape better decisions ahead. You may not regain the same relationship, but you will gain discernment that protects your heart in future connections. You may not relive missed opportunities, but you will recognize new ones more clearly when they appear. My beloved child, nothing you experienced was wasted. Even the moments you regret carry lessons that are now part of your strength. Even the mistakes you replay in your mind have refined your understanding. The joy you feel you lost will return, but it will return matured. It will not be naive. It will be rooted in resilience. The confidence that was shaken will rise again, steadier and less dependent on approval. The hope that dimmed will burn brighter because it has survived darkness. There are gifts within you that have been quiet because disappointment silenced them. There are dreams you placed on hold because fear convinced you they were unrealistic. There are aspects of your personality you suppressed because rejection made you cautious. I'm awakening those places again. Restoration often unfolds slowly. Like a field that appears barren after winter, your life may have looked empty in certain areas, but beneath the soil, roots remained alive. When the season shifts, growth emerges unexpectedly. What seemed lifeless begins to bloom. You are entering a season of renewal, not a return to the past, but a rebuilding for the future. What was taken will be repaid in forms that fit who you are now. Do not cling so tightly to what was that you miss what is becoming. Restoration sometimes requires releasing the image of how you thought things should have turned out. I may rebuild differently than you expected, but I rebuild with intention. My beloved child, your story is not defined by loss. It is defined by redemption. The chapters that hurt you will not have the final word. I am weaving new threads into your life, threads of strength, clarity, and deeper peace. You will laugh again without forcing it. You will trust again without naivety. You will step forward again without fear dominating your choices. Lift your eyes from what feels gone. Look toward what is rising. The ground beneath you is not ruined. It is being restored. I am redeeming time. I am renewing hope. I am rebuilding confidence. What felt stolen will not remain missing. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are not too far behind. I am restoring more than you can see, and soon you will recognize that even what seemed lost became part of a greater rebuilding. My beloved child, there will be seasons when my voice feels quiet to you. You will pray and not sense an immediate answer. You will search for a sign and find only stillness. In those moments, doubt may whisper that I have stepped away. But I want you to anchor this truth deeply in your heart. Silence does not mean absence. You often measure my presence by your emotions. When you feel peace, you assume I am near. When you feel clarity, you believe I am guiding you clearly. But when your emotions are unsettled and answers seem delayed, you begin to question whether I am listening. Yet my nearness is not dependent on your feelings. I am constant even when your inner world feels uncertain. There are seasons when I speak loudly and clearly, and there are seasons when I choose to strengthen you through quiet. Both are expressions of love. Think of winter in nature. The trees stand bare. The fields appear empty. Growth seems to have stopped. If you judged by appearance alone, you would assume life has paused. But beneath the frozen ground, roots are growing deeper. Systems are strengthening. Preparation is quietly unfolding for spring. My beloved child, your silent seasons are not empty. They are underground growth. When you do not hear immediate direction, you are being invited into deeper trust. When reassurance is delayed, endurance is forming within you. When certainty is limited, faith is expanding. You want to know that you are on the right path. You want confirmation that your efforts are not wasted. You want visible signs that everything will turn out well. But trust matures when you continue walking without constant validation. There were times in your past when you felt confused and unsure. You questioned whether you were making the right decisions. Yet later, when you looked back, you saw how circumstances align. You realized that even in moments of uncertainty, I was guiding you. The same is true now. My silence is not punishment. It is preparation. In stillness, your motives are refined. When applause fades and external affirmation quiets, you discover whether your actions are rooted in integrity rather than recognition. When answers are not immediate, you learn patience. When direction is subtle, you learn attentiveness. You are developing steadiness. You are becoming less dependent on emotional highs and more grounded in enduring truth. This growth may not feel dramatic, but it is profound. Imagine walking with a lantern at night. The lantern does not illuminate miles ahead. It reveals only the next few steps. That limited light is not a sign of abandonment. It is sufficient guidance. In the same way, even when you do not see the full picture, you are being given enough for today. In quiet seasons, I often speak softly, through a gentle sense of peace when you consider a certain path, through a subtle discomfort when something is misaligned, through wisdom that rises unexpectedly during reflection. These impressions may not be loud, but they are real. Do not confuse noise with clarity. Loud does not always mean true. Silence can hold deeper assurance than constant sound. My beloved child, when you feel alone in stillness, pause rather than panic. Breathe rather than assume the worst. Instead of asking, "Why are you silent?" ask, "What are you strengthening in me?" Perhaps resilience is forming. Perhaps discipline is growing. Perhaps your identity is being rooted more firmly so that future storms cannot shake you as easily. Silence is not emptiness. It is cultivation. Winter does not last forever. Spring inevitably follows. And when it does, the growth that appears above the surface is supported by the unseen strengthening that occurred beneath it. Trust me in the quiet. Trust that I am working beyond your awareness. Trust that absence of noise does not equal absence of care. I am present in your stillness. I am active in your waiting. I am guiding you even when you cannot hear clear instructions. My beloved child, do not fear the silent seasons. They are not abandonment. They are refinement. And soon, you will look back and recognize that even the quiet carried purpose, shaping you in ways constant reassurance never could. My beloved child, you are stronger than you feel right now. I know that there are moments when your energy feels low and your confidence feels thin. There are mornings when simply beginning the day feels like a task. There are nights when you replay everything that went wrong and wonder if you are truly capable of handling what lies ahead. But your current emotions are not an accurate reflection of your true strength. Strength is often quiet. It does not always look bold or fearless. It does not always speak loudly or move dramatically. More often, strength looks like showing up when you would rather hide. It looks like trying again after disappointment. It looks like choosing to believe, even when doubt sits nearby. You have already endured seasons you once believed would break you. Think back to a time when everything felt overwhelming, when pressure mounted from different directions at once, when you questioned whether you had the capacity to carry it all. In those moments, you may have felt fragile, yet you endured. You adapted. You continued. You are still here. That is not accidental. That is resilience. My beloved child, you often overlook your own growth because it happened gradually. You did not wake up one morning feeling powerful. Instead, strength formed slowly, shaped by repetition. Each time you faced a fear instead of avoiding it, you grew. Each time you recovered from a mistake instead of surrendering to shame, you matured. Each time you kept walking despite uncertainty, you deepened your endurance. Strength is not the absence of tears. It is continuing after the tears fall. Strength is not the absence of fear. It is moving forward while fear whispers. Strength is not perfection. It is persistence. Imagine a tree standing through multiple storms. Each storm bends its branches. Each wind tests its roots. Yet with every season faced, its roots grow deeper. The very resistance that threatened it becomes the force that strengthens it. In the same way, the pressures you have faced have expanded your capacity. You may feel tired, and that is natural. Tired does not mean incapable. Fatigue does not erase resilience. Even the strongest runner must pause to breathe. Even the most determined traveler must rest before continuing. Rest is not weakness. It is wisdom. My beloved child, you have handled conversations that once would have overwhelmed you. You have made decisions that required courage. You have walked away from situations that were not healthy, even when it hurt. These are not small acts. They are evidence of inner growth. You may focus on the moments when you felt uncertain. You may replay times when you doubted yourself. But doubt does not cancel strength. It simply reveals that you are human. What matters is that you did not let doubt stop you permanently. You are becoming steadier. You are becoming wiser. You are becoming less shaken by external circumstances. The challenges that once consumed your thoughts now feel manageable. The fears that once paralyzed you now feel negotiable. That is progress. My beloved child, when you look at yourself, you often see what is lacking. I see what is developing. I see endurance where you see exhaustion. I see courage where you see hesitation. I see resilience where you see vulnerability. You are not fragile in the way you fear. You are being fortified. The very responsibilities you carry are strengthening you. The very uncertainties you navigate are sharpening your discernment. The very setbacks you endured have built perseverance. Do not let temporary discouragement convince you that you are weak. Feelings shift. Strength remains. You are stronger than you were a year ago. You are wiser than you were in past seasons. You are more capable than you give yourself credit for. And when the next challenge comes, you will discover again that you have what it takes to endure it. My beloved child, trust the strength that has been forming within you. It is real, it is steady, and it will carry you further than you can currently imagine. My beloved child, the future is not what you fear it will be. I know how easily your thoughts travel ahead of you. You imagine conversations that have not happened. You anticipate losses that have not occurred. You rehearse failures that exist only in your mind. And while you believe you are protecting yourself by expecting the worst, you are quietly draining today of its peace. You have learned from past pain, and that wisdom is valuable. But sometimes wisdom turns into worry when it is not balanced with trust. Because something hurt you before, you assume it will hurt you again. Because one door closed unexpectedly, you expect the next one to do the same. Because disappointment visited you once, you prepare for it to return. My beloved child, your past experiences shaped you, but they do not control what lies ahead. You often stand at the edge of tomorrow like someone staring into thick fog. You cannot see far, so you assume danger. You fill in the unknown with worst-case scenarios. But limited visibility does not equal catastrophe. It simply means you can't see the full picture yet. Imagine walking through a valley at dawn. The air is cool. The mist hangs low. For a moment, everything feels uncertain. But as the sun rises, the mist begins to lift. The same ground that looked mysterious and intimidating becomes clear and navigable. The valley was never dangerous in the way you imagined. It was simply hidden. In the same way, your future is not hidden because it is harmful. It is hidden because it is unfolding in its proper time. You have asked yourself quietly, what if I fail again? What if I am not strong enough? What if I lose what I care about? But you rarely ask the opposite question. What if you succeed in ways that surprise you? What if you grow beyond what you once thought possible? What if the very experiences you fear become stepping stones to deeper peace? My beloved child, I am already present in your tomorrow. I do not wait at the end of your journey. I walk ahead of you. I prepare what you cannot yet anticipate. I align details that you cannot see forming. The future will hold challenges, yes. Growth always includes stretching. But it will also hold joy you have not yet imagined. It will hold laughter that feels effortless. It will hold connections that feel safe. It will hold opportunities that align naturally with the person you are becoming. You are not the same person you were in past seasons. You are wiser now. You are more discerning. You recognize patterns more quickly. You set boundaries more confidently. You understand your own needs more clearly. These changes matter. They alter the way your future unfolds. My beloved child, fear tries to convince you that history will repeat itself endlessly. But growth interrupts repetition. Healing changes trajectories. Maturity reshapes decisions. Do not let your imagination be dominated by disaster. When anxious thoughts arise, pause. Remind yourself that you are not stepping into tomorrow alone. You are guided. You are equipped. You are supported in ways you do not fully comprehend. The unknown can feel threatening, but it can also be full of possibility. The same blank page that could hold difficulty can also hold beauty. The same unopened door that could hide uncertainty can also reveal blessing. You do not need to solve tomorrow today. You do not need to rehearse every possible outcome. Your responsibility is to take the next faithful step. Leave the rest in my hands. My beloved child, allow yourself to hope again. Allow yourself to expect good. Allow yourself to imagine a future shaped not by fear, but by growth and guidance. The fog will lift gradually. Clarity will come step by step. And when you arrive at the days you once feared, you will realize that they were not as overwhelming as your mind predicted. Your future is not a shadow of your past. It is an unfolding story, written with intention. Trust me with what you cannot yet see. My beloved child, I am opening a new chapter in your life, even if you cannot yet see all the words written upon its pages. You may feel a subtle shift inside you, a quiet awareness that something is ending and something else is beginning. That awareness is not your imagination. It is transition. You have walked through a long season. You have learned lessons you did not volunteer to learn. You have endured conversations you never expected to have. You have carried burdens you did not think you were strong enough to lift. And through it all, you have changed. Growth has taken place beneath the surface. But that chapter was never meant to be your permanent address. When a page turns in a story, it does not erase what came before. It builds upon it. The previous chapter gave context, depth, understanding. Yet the story cannot remain stuck in one section forever. If it did, it would never unfold fully. My beloved child, you are not meant to relive the same season repeatedly. You are not meant to remain in an identity shaped only by survival. You were strengthened in that season, yes, but you are now being invited to live, not merely endure. Turning the page can feel unsettling. Even painful chapters become familiar. You knew the patterns. You understood the dynamics. You can predict certain outcomes. Familiarity can feel safer than possibility. The unknown asks for trust. It asks for courage. But you are not stepping into emptiness. You are stepping into preparation fulfilled. The wisdom you gained is coming with you. The boundaries you learn to set will protect your peace. The discernment you develop will guide your decisions. The resilience you built will steady your steps. You are not beginning again as someone fragile. You are beginning again as someone refined. My beloved child, do not carry the labels of the last chapter into this new one. You are not defined by the mistakes you made. You are not marked by the disappointments you experienced. You are not confined by the delays you endured. Those events shaped you, but they do not imprison you. Think of a traveler leaving a difficult valley and approaching open fields. The valley taught endurance. It revealed strength. But it was never meant to be the final destination. The open field ahead offers new space, new movement, new breath. You may feel hesitant. You may wonder if it is too late to pursue certain dreams. You may question whether you have missed your chance. But time has not disqualified you. Experience has equipped you. A writer revises a manuscript not to discard it, but to strengthen it. Early chapters are refined. Adjustments are made. The story becomes clearer and more powerful. In the same way, your life is not being erased. It is being refined. This new chapter may require you to release old expectations. It may invite you to redefine success. It may lead you toward paths you once dismissed. But you are more prepared than you realize. My beloved child, do not cling to pages that have already served their purpose. Do not reread painful paragraphs hoping they will change. Let them remain part of your story, but not your present identity. The blank space ahead is not emptiness. It is opportunity. It is room for growth. It is space for joy that is no longer overshadowed by constant survival. There are relationships ahead that will feel healthier. There are opportunities that will align naturally with your strengths. There are moments of peace that will not feel fragile. The page is turning gently. You can resist it, or you can step forward into it. Walk into this new chapter with openness. Trust that I am guiding the narrative. Trust that what lies ahead is not random, but intentional. My beloved child, your story is not ending. It is deepening. And this next chapter will reveal growth, clarity, and purpose that could only emerge after everything you have already walked through. My beloved child, I want you to pause and truly receive what I am about to say, not just with your mind, but with your heart. You are deeply loved. Not in a fragile way. Not in a temporary way. Not in a way that depends on how well you perform or how perfectly you behave. You are loved in a way that is steady, unwavering, and constant. You have experienced love that felt conditional. Love that seemed warm when you succeeded and distant when you struggled. Love that required you to meet certain expectations to feel secure. Because of those experiences, part of you has learned to brace yourself. You expect affection to fade. You expect approval to be withdrawn. And sometimes, without realizing it, you project that fear onto me. But my beloved child, my love does not fluctuate. Before you ever tried to improve yourself, I loved you. Before you corrected your mistakes, I love you. Before you grew stronger through your trials, I love you. My love for you did not begin when you became wiser. It was present when you were uncertain. It does not increase when you succeed, and it does not decrease when you fall short. You often treat yourself more harshly than anyone else would. You replay your failures in your mind. You magnify your flaws. You hold yourself to standards you would never impose on someone you care about. When you make a mistake, you carry it long after the moment has passed. But I do not relate to you through a lens of constant disappointment. Imagine a child learning something new, perhaps learning to ride a bicycle. The child wobbles, falls, tries again. The parent watching does not withdraw love because of the fall. The parent's heart remains steady, encouraging, patient. In the same way, when you stumble, my love does not shrink. My beloved child, you are allowed to be in progress and still be fully loved. You are allowed to grow at your own pace. You are allowed to have questions, doubts, and incomplete understanding without losing my affection. You have feared that love must be earned through perfection, that if you fail too many times, you will no longer be accepted. But love that must be earned is not secure. My love for you is secure. There were moments when shame tried to convince you that you were unworthy, when guilt whispered that you had gone too far, when regret made you feel small. But my love is not fragile. It does not withdraw because of your humanity. It does not turn away because of your weakness. You are loved when you are confident. You are loved when you are anxious. You are loved when you are clear and when you are confused. You are loved when you feel close to me and when you feel distant. Even when you doubt yourself, I do not doubt my love for you. Even when you question your value, I do not question it. Even when you feel alone, you are not unloved. My beloved child, allow yourself to rest in this truth. Stop trying to calculate whether you deserve love. Stop bracing for it to disappear. Stop hiding parts of yourself out of fear that they are too flawed. You do not need to compete for my attention. You do not need to impress me with constant strength. You do not need to pretend you are unaffected by pain. You are already accepted. The love I have for you is not based on your latest achievement. It is not measured by your productivity. It is not determined by how well you manage every challenge. It is rooted in who you are to me. Let this love soften the harsh voice inside you. Let it quiet the fear that you are not enough. Let it remind you that you are not walking through life trying to earn affection. You are walking through life already loved. And nothing you face, nothing you regret, nothing you fear can separate you from that steady, unchanging love. My beloved child, it is time for you to stop doubting your worth. I speak this to you with tenderness, not frustration. I know how long you have wrestled with feelings of inadequacy. I know how often you have questioned whether you are enough. But the standard you have been measuring yourself against was never placed there by me. You compare yourself in ways that quietly wound your confidence. You look at someone else's progress and assume you are behind. You observe someone else's confidence and conclude that you are lacking. You see someone else's success and wonder why yours looks different. But you are comparing different journeys, different starting points, different callings. My beloved child, comparison distorts truth. It magnifies what others appear to have while minimizing what you actually possess. You have strengths that are subtle but powerful. You have endured things that have shaped depth within you. You have developed empathy, resilience, and discernment through experiences that others may never understand. These qualities may not always be visible on the surface, but they are valuable. There are times when you replay past mistakes and allow them to define you. You think, if I had known better, I would have done better. You could rewrite certain chapters. But wisdom often comes through experience. You could not have acted with knowledge you did not yet possess. Growth requires time. Your past decisions do not cancel your present worth. My beloved child, you also misinterpret difficulty as inadequacy. When something feels hard, you assume it is proof that you are not capable. But difficulty often means you are stretching beyond old limits. It means you are learning. It means you are expanding. Imagine someone lifting weights for the first time. The strain does not mean weakness and identity. It means muscles are being challenged. Over time, what once felt heavy becomes manageable. The process does not reveal worthlessness. It reveals development. In the same way, the areas where you feel uncertain are not proof of failure. They are areas of growth. You have also carried shame that lingers longer than necessary. Shame tells you that you are defined by your lowest moments. It convinces you that others see you only through your flaws. But I do not see you that way. I see your intentions. I see your effort. I see the lessons you have learned. My beloved child, release the belief that you must become flawless before you can feel worthy. You do not need to achieve perfection to deserve opportunity. You do not need to erase every weakness before you step forward confidently. There are doors you hesitate to approach because you feel unqualified. There are dreams you quietly minimize because you feel behind. There are conversations you avoid because you fear sounding inadequate. But those fears are rooted in insecurity, not truth. You are not behind. You are becoming. You are not disqualified. You are developing. You are not less than. You are growing. Stop speaking to yourself with harshness. When you fall short, correct gently rather than condemn. When you succeed, acknowledge it rather than dismiss it. When you learn, celebrate the growth rather than focusing on how long it took. My beloved child, you were never meant to shrink in spaces where you belong. You were never meant to apologize for existing. You were never meant to question whether you deserved to take up space. Your worth was established before you achieved anything. It remains steady regardless of how quickly you progress. Stand a little taller in your spirit. Allow yourself to step into rooms without preemptively disqualifying yourself. Speak with clarity instead of self-doubt. Walk forward without carrying unnecessary shame. You are not a mistake trying to fix yourself into acceptability. You are a person evolving into alignment with your true design. My beloved child, stop doubting your worth. It has never been in question from my perspective. And the sooner you begin to see yourself through truth rather than insecurity, the more freely you will step into the life unfolding before you. My beloved child, I am making all things work together in your life, even the parts that seem disconnected or painful. You see fragments. You see moments that feel unrelated. You see events that appear unfair or unnecessary. But I see the weaving. I see how each thread, even the darker ones, contributes to a larger design. There are experiences you would never have chosen. Conversations that hurt, opportunities that slipped away, seasons that felt longer than they should have. At the time, you could not understand why they were allowed. You questioned whether they served any purpose at all. But my beloved child, nothing in your life is wasted when it is placed in my hands. Imagine a tapestry being woven from many different colors of thread. Some threads are bright and joyful. Others are dark and heavy. If you focus only on one small section, especially a dark one, it may look confusing or even ugly. But when you step back and see the entire piece, you realize that each color had a role in creating depth and beauty. Your disappointments have shaped your discernment. Your delays have strengthened your patience. Your heartbreak has deepened your compassion. Even your mistakes have sharpened your wisdom. You sometimes separate your life into categories. The good experiences you accept as blessings. The painful ones you label as setbacks. But I do not divide your story that way. I weave it. There were moments when you thought you had failed completely. Moments when you felt embarrassed or ashamed. But those very moments redirected you toward paths that better align with who you are becoming. What felt like collapse was often correction. My beloved child, you cannot always see how events connect in real time. You may not understand why certain people entered your life for only a short season. You may not see why certain doors closed abruptly. But connections are forming behind the scenes. The skill you developed in one job may serve you in a completely different field later. The lesson you learned in one relationship may protect you in the next. The patience you cultivated during waiting may anchor you in a future leadership role. Nothing stands alone. Even the struggles you endured are being repurposed. The anxiety you navigated has made you more sensitive to others who are overwhelmed. The rejection you faced has made you more compassionate toward those who feel excluded. The loss you experienced has expanded your capacity to comfort others. My beloved child, trust that there is continuity in your journey. You are not bouncing randomly from one disconnected event to another. You are moving through a story that has coherence, even when you cannot trace the lines yet. You may feel as though certain years were wasted. You may think you detoured too far from your original plans. But detours can reveal routes that were hidden before. They can introduce you to strengths you did not know you possessed. I am not limited by your missteps. I am not surprised by your weaknesses. I am not defeated by unexpected outcomes. I am able to take every thread, joy, sorrow, success, mistake, and weave it into something purposeful. This does not mean every event was good. It means no event is beyond redemption. My beloved child, release the fear that parts of your life have permanently ruined your future. Release the belief that one wrong turn disqualified you. I am greater than your errors. I am stronger than your setbacks. Look at your life not as a collection of isolated incidents, but as a developing design. What seems fragmented now will one day make sense. Trust that even now, pieces are aligning. Conversations, opportunities, growth, and timing are converging in ways you cannot yet measure. You are not lost in chaos. You are being woven into purpose. And one day, when you step back and see the full tapestry, you will recognize that even the threads you disliked were essential to the beauty of the whole. My beloved child, I am inviting you into deeper trust now. Not the kind of trust that speaks hopeful words while still clinging tightly to control, but the kind that settles into your spirit and steadies you even when circumstances shift unexpectedly. This trust is not loud or dramatic. It is quiet, rooted, and enduring. You have trusted me in seasons when everything made sense, when doors opened smoothly, when opportunities aligned with your expectations, when peace felt obvious. In those moments, trust felt easy, but deeper trust is formed when clarity is limited, when answers are delayed, when outcomes are not yet visible. Trust is not built in comfort alone. It is strengthened in uncertainty. There are areas of your life where you still grip tightly. Plans you have mapped out carefully. Timelines you believe must not change. Outcomes you imagine in very specific detail. You fear that if you release your hold, things will unravel. You fear that surrender means losing something important. But my beloved child, surrender is not chaos. It is alignment. Imagine holding a heavy bundle in your arms for hours. At first, you manage. Over time, your muscles strain, your shoulders ache, yet you keep holding it because you believe you must. When someone offers to carry it for you, you hesitate. You have grown accustomed to the weight. But the moment you finally release it, relief spreads through your body. In the same way, when you release your need to control every detail, peace has space to return. You often pray for guidance, but when the direction differs from your expectations, you hesitate. You ask for open doors, but only if they lead exactly where you imagined. Deeper trust means believing that I see beyond your limited view. You desire certainty. You want assurance that you will not be hurt again. You want guarantees that your next step will not lead to disappointment. But life rarely offers guarantees. Instead, it offers growth. Trust grows when you step forward without seeing the entire path. It deepens when you choose calm over panic. It strengthens when you refuse to let fear dictate your decisions. My beloved child, you do not need to understand everything to move forward. You do not need to solve every possible outcome before taking action. You only need to trust that I am present in every stage. There will be moments when plans shift unexpectedly, when doors close without explanation, when delays test your patience. But these shifts are not signs of abandonment. They are adjustments toward alignment. Deeper trust also means trusting yourself more, trusting the discernment you have developed, trusting the resilience you have built, trusting that the lessons from your past are guiding your present choices. You are not as easily shaken as you once were. You have endured enough to know that temporary discomfort does not equal permanent loss. You have navigated enough uncertainty to recognize that clarity eventually comes. When anxious thoughts rise, pause instead of reacting. Breathe instead of spiraling. Remind yourself that you are not alone in this process. Remind yourself that redirection is not rejection. Trust does not remove all questions. It removes panic from the questions. My beloved child, I am inviting you into a calmer rhythm, a way of living where you release constant worry, where you stop rehearsing worst-case scenarios, where you allow me to hold what was never meant to rest entirely on your shoulders. You do not need to carry the future alone. You do not need to control every variable. You do not need to anticipate every obstacle. Let go, even if just slightly more than yesterday. Trust that I am guiding your steps even when you cannot see far ahead. Trust that unseen shifts are positioning you well. Trust that what is truly meant for you will not pass you by. Deeper trust will not make you weak. It will make you steady. My beloved child, release your tight grip and walk forward with quiet confidence. I am holding what you cannot see, and I am faithful in what I carry. My beloved child, you are closer to your breakthrough than you realize. I know that lately it has felt like you have been walking in circles. You have been trying, adjusting, waiting, hoping, and sometimes doubting. You have wondered if anything is actually changing. But movement does not always feel dramatic. Sometimes progress is quiet and steady. You measure breakthrough by visible shifts. You expect sudden transformation, immediate clarity, or instant relief. But many breakthroughs happen gradually. They begin internally before they appear externally. There are thoughts you handle differently now. Situations that once overwhelmed you now feel manageable. Conversations that once intimidated you now feel possible. That is progress. That is growth unfolding beneath the surface. My beloved child, you are not stuck. You are preparing. Think on water heating slowly on a flame. For a long time, nothing appears to happen. The water remains still. No visible change occurs. But beneath the surface, temperature is rising. Molecules are shifting. Energy is building. Then suddenly, the water begins to boil. What looked stagnant was actually building toward transformation. In the same way, your persistence is not wasted. The patience you have practiced, the boundaries you have set, the courage you have exercised, all of it is raising the temperature of your life toward change. You have been tempted to quit because you do not see immediate results. You have wondered if your efforts matter. But my beloved child, the breakthrough often arrives right after the moment you consider giving up. There are connections aligning. There are opportunities forming. There are insights developing within you. Even when you cannot see them clearly, they are taking shape. You have also changed internally. Your mindset is different. Your reactions are steadier. Your confidence is growing quietly. This internal shift is what makes external breakthrough sustainable. If success had come earlier, before you were prepared, it might not have lasted. If clarity had arrived before your character strengthened, it might have overwhelmed you. But now, you are more ready than you think. My beloved child, do not let temporary frustration convince you that nothing is happening. Seeds planted underground take time before they break through the soil. But once they do, growth becomes visible. You have planted seeds of discipline, seeds of courage, seeds of healing, seeds of patience. They are not lost. They are germinating. There were moments when you chose restraint instead of reaction, when you chose growth instead of comfort, when you chose hope instead of bitterness. Those choices matter more than you realize. Breakthrough is not only about changing circumstances. It is about becoming someone who can carry new blessings responsibly. You are closer than you think. Do not measure distance by how tired you feel. Do not measure progress by how long it has taken. Measure it by how much you have grown. My beloved child, the shift you have been waiting for is forming. Stay steady. Stay consistent. Stay faithful in small steps. The door you have been knocking on will not remain closed forever. The clarity you have been seeking will not remain hidden forever. The peace you have been cultivating will not remain fragile forever. Keep walking. Keep believing. Keep preparing. What feels like delay is often alignment. What feels like stagnation is often preparation. You are not circling aimlessly. You are approaching breakthrough. And when it comes, you will realize that every quiet step, every patient moment, every unseen effort was leading you exactly here. My beloved child, you have walked with me through every word of this message, and I want you to pause now and feel what has been building inside you. This was not random. You were meant to hear this. From the beginning, when you wondered if this message was truly for you, to this very moment, I have been speaking directly to your heart. You have been reminded that you are not forgotten. You have been shown that your storms were shaping you, not destroying you. You have seen that your silence was not abandonment, but preparation. You have been called to release what hurt you, to trust more deeply, to step into a new chapter, and to stop doubting your worth. All of this leads to one truth. You are deeply loved, carefully guided, and intentionally positioned for what is ahead. My beloved child, do not leave this message unchanged. Carry it with you. When doubt whispers, remember that you are protected. When fear rises, remember that your future is unfolding with purpose. When you feel weak, remember that strength has been forming within you all along. You are not who you were when this message began. Something has shifted. Something has awakened. A deeper trust, a steadier confidence, a clearer awareness that I am with you. And now listen closely, my beloved child. As I have poured into you, I am also calling you to help this light reach others who are still sitting in darkness. There are hearts waiting for the same reassurance you just received. There are souls standing at the edge of giving up who need this message at the exact right moment. When you give through Super Thanks membership, or the PayPal link placed in the description and shown as a QR code in this video, you are not supporting a platform. You are sowing seeds into lives you may never see. My word declares that when you sow generously, you reap abundantly, and I breathe life over every seed planted in faith. As you respond, you are answering my invitation to become part of the harvest. Do not delay when you feel the stirring in your spirit. Obedience opens doors that hesitation keeps closed. I see every act of generosity, and I bless it as a fragrant offering that multiplies beyond your sight. Let your giving become light that travels further than your voice can reach. Step into this moment boldly and give as I lead you. My beloved child, thank you for listening. Thank you for opening your heart. Thank you for trusting me enough to stay until the end. May peace guard your thoughts. May clarity guide your decisions. May courage steady your steps. May love surround you in ways you cannot deny. Walk forward knowing you are chosen, protected, restored, and deeply loved. Amen.